The Blackwood Incident, 3 Days Lost. Part 1. The Descent. It was supposed to be a simple weekend trip. 3 friends, 1 forest, and what they thought would be an easy trail through Oregon's Cascade Mountains. Jake Martinez, 28, was the organizer, an experienced hiker with over 50 trails under his belt. He convinced his 2 college buddies to join him for what he called a real adventure. Marcus Chin, 31, worked in finance and hadn't been camping in years. Derek Williams, 29, was a high school teacher on summer break, eager to escape his routine. Friday, July 14th, 2:47 p.m. The parking lot at Blackwood Trailhead. "Dude, we should have started earlier," Marcus said, checking his watch. The plan was to hike 6 miles in, camp overnight, and return Saturday afternoon. "We're fine," Jake insisted, adjusting his pack. "We've got at least 5 hours of daylight. The trail's well marked." Derek was already walking toward the trailhead, camera in hand, filming everything. "This is going to be epic content," he said, grinning at the lens. 3 idiots versus nature. Subscribe for part 2. The first hour was perfect. Dense forest, the smell of pine, the sound of their boots on the packed earth. They joked, took photos, stopped to drink water. Marcus complained about the weight of his pack. Derek filmed everything. At 4:15 p.m., they reached a fork in the trail. "Left or right?" Marcus asked. Jake pulled out his phone to check the GPS. No signal. He frowned. "Map says left, I think." "Yeah, left goes to Eagles Point where we're camping." "You think?" Derek lowered his camera. "I'm sure left." They went left. Part 2. The Realization. By 6 p.m., something was wrong. The trail had narrowed significantly. The markers, those reassuring painted blazes on trees, had disappeared. "Jake," Marcus said quietly, "when's the last time you saw a trail marker?" Jake stopped walking. His face went pale. Maybe 20 minutes ago." "Maybe?" Derek's voice rose. "Maybe? Bro, where are we?" They stood in a circle, looking around. The forest had thickened. The path beneath their feet was barely visible now, just a suggestion between the trees. Okay, Jake said, trying to sound calm. "We backtrack. Simple. We just go back the way we came." They turned around and started walking. But after 15 minutes, nothing looked familiar. The forest all looked the same. Endless trees, ferns, moss-covered rocks. "This isn't right," Marcus said. His voice had an edge to it now. "Jake, this isn't the same way." "It has to be," Jake insisted, but his confidence was cracking. Derek pulled out his phone. No signal. "Jake?" "No signal." "Marcus?" "Nothing." The sun was lower now, casting long shadows through the trees. The temperature was dropping. "We need to think logically," Derek said, the camera now forgotten in his pack. "We go downhill. Downhill leads to water. Water leads to civilization." "Or it leads deeper into the wilderness," Marcus countered. "You got a better idea?" An argument broke out, voices rising, accusations flying. Jake defending his decision to go left, Marcus saying they should have turned back earlier, Derek trying to mediate but making it worse. Finally, Jake shouted, "Enough! Fighting doesn't help. We have maybe an hour of light left. We need to make camp, stay put, and figure this out in the morning." Part 3. Night 1. They found a relatively flat area and set up their tents in tense silence. Darkness in the deep forest is absolute. The kind of darkness where you can't see your hand in front of your face. They built a fire. At least Jake knew how to do that. The flames pushed back the darkness about 10 feet. Someone will notice we're missing, right? Beyond that, nothing but black. Marcus asked, staring into the flames. "I told my girlfriend we'd be back Saturday night," Derek said. "She won't worry until Sunday morning at the earliest." "Same," Jake admitted. "My roommate knows I'm gone, but not exactly where." "So we could be out here for how long before anyone even starts looking?" Marcus's voice was tight. Nobody answered. Around midnight, they heard something moving in the darkness, Something big, breaking branches. "What was that?" Marcus whispered. "Bear, probably," Jake said, trying to sound unconcerned. "Black bears are common here. The fire will keep it away." "Probably," Derek repeated. "Probably a bear?" "Could be a cougar." "Oh, that's so much better, Jake. Thanks." The sound moved around their camp in a wide circle. They sat with their backs to the fire, staring out into the darkness, seeing nothing. The sound continued for 20 minutes, then faded. Nobody slept much that night. Part 4, Day 2, The Descent. Saturday morning, 6:42 a.m. They ate granola bars in silence and studied Jake's paper map. The problem was simple. They didn't know where they were on it. "We need to pick a direction and commit," Derek said. "Sitting here doesn't help." They decided to go downhill, hoping to find a stream. Streams led to rivers. Rivers led to people. By 10 a.m., they found water, a small creek, maybe 2 feet wide. Following it seemed logical. Water always flows downhill, always goes somewhere. But the terrain got worse. Steep hillsides, loose rocks, thick undergrowth. Marcus slipped and fell hard, gashing his hand on a sharp rock. "I'm bleeding," he said, staring at his palm. Blood dripped onto the leaves. Derek pulled out a first aid kit and bandaged it. "It's not deep. You'll be fine." "Fine?" Marcus laughed, a harsh sound. "We're lost in the woods, Derek. I'm not fine. None of us are fine." The creek led them into a ravine, dense, claustrophobic, the walls steep on both sides. They had to climb over massive fallen trees, squeeze between boulders. Progress slowed to a crawl. "This is wrong," Jake said suddenly. "We need to go back up, find higher ground." "Are you kidding?" Marcus exploded. "We've been following this creek for 3 hours. You want to throw that away?" "It's taking us the wrong way." Another argument, louder this time. Derek stepped between them. "Stop, both of you." He was breathing hard, fear in his eyes. "We're scared, we're tired, but we can't turn on each other. That's how people die out here." They decided to vote. 2-1, they continued following the creek. By late afternoon, the ravine opened into a small valley, and there, in the distance, they saw something that made their hearts leap. A clearing, and in that clearing, the remains of an old structure. A ranger station? A cabin? They ran. It was a cabin, or had been. Abandoned, roof half collapsed, windows broken. But there was a fireplace, 4 walls, shelter. "Finally," Marcus breathed. "Maybe there's a radio, or supplies, or—" Empty. The cabin was completely empty except for animal droppings and rotted wood. The disappointment was crushing. Part 5, Night 2, Breaking Point. They camped in the cabin that night. At least the walls blocked the wind. Derek's camera battery had died. Marcus's hand was throbbing, the bandage soaked through with blood and dirt. Jake sat apart from them, staring at the map by flashlight. "I'm sorry," Jake said finally. His voice cracked. "This is my fault. I thought I knew what I was doing." Nobody argued with him. "My mom's going to be so worried," Marcus said quietly. "She watches the news constantly. She's probably already convinced I'm dead." "Don't talk like that," Derek said, but his voice lacked conviction. "Why not? It's possible, isn't it? People die out here. We could be 3 more statistics." "We have food for another day, maybe 2 if we ration," Jake said. "Water from the creek. We can survive this." "Survive isn't the same as getting out," Marcus shot back. Around 2 a.m., Marcus started shivering uncontrollably. Fever. The cut on his hand was infected. The skin around it was hot, red, swollen. Derek gave him ibuprofen from the first aid kit. They wrapped him in both sleeping bags. Jake sat up all night keeping watch, feeding the fire, listening to Marcus's labored breathing. This was spiraling. Fast. Part 6, Day 3, The Last Chance. Sunday morning. Marcus could barely walk. "We have to make a decision," Derek said. Do we stay here and hope someone finds us, or do we keep moving? If we stay, we're hoping rescue knows where to look, Jake said. But we're way off the trail. They might not search this far. If we go, we might walk ourselves deeper into trouble, Derek countered. They looked at Marcus, who was barely conscious, leaning against the cabin wall. We have to try, Jake decided. We make a stretcher, carry him. There has to be a road, a trail, something. Using tent poles and jackets, they fashioned a crude stretcher. Marcus was delirious, mumbling about his mother, about water, about wanting to go home. They carried him out of the cabin, back toward the creek, following it downstream. Hours passed. Arms burning, back screaming, they took turns carrying the stretcher. The creek widened, became a stream. The stream joined another. Good signs. At 2 p.m., they heard it. A helicopter. Far away, but unmistakable. The rhythmic thump of rotors. Help! Jake screamed, dropping his end of the stretcher. Here! We're here! But the trees were too thick. The canopy completely blocked the sky. Derek frantically dug through his pack and pulled out a small emergency mirror, something he'd bought on impulse at REI and almost didn't bring. He ran toward a small break in the trees, catching sunlight, flashing it desperately skyward. Flash! Flash! The helicopter sound was fading. Flash! Flash! Please! Derek sobbed, flashing the mirror frantically. The helicopter sound stopped fading. It held steady. Then, it got louder. The helicopter was coming back. Part 7. Rescue. The rescue team rappelled down through a gap in the trees 20 minutes later. 2 paramedics, followed by 3 search and rescue personnel. They'd been searching since Saturday night when Jake's roommate finally got worried and called authorities. 50 square miles, dozens of searchers, helicopters, dogs. The mirror flash had saved them. Marcus was airlifted out first, rushed to hospital with severe dehydration and a blood infection. The doctor said another night out there, and he might not have made it. Derek and Jake were walked out by the rescue team, a 3-hour hike to the nearest forest road. When they finally saw the parking lot, the news crews, the worried families, Derek fell to his knees and wept. Epilogue. The story went viral, of course. Derek's early footage, combined with news coverage, garnered millions of views. 3 friends lost in Blackwood Forest, a survival story, became one of the most watched hiking disaster documentaries of the year. Marcus recovered fully, but never went camping again. Derek became a hiking safety advocate, giving talks about preparation and emergency equipment. Jake returned to Blackwood Forest exactly 1 year later, this time with GPS, satellite phone, and a professional guide. He needed to face it, he said, to prove it didn't break him. At the old cabin, now marked on official maps as part of the rescue story, he left a plaque. For everyone who goes into the wild, respect it, prepare for it, never underestimate it. We learned the hard way. Learn from us instead. The Blackwood incident serves as a reminder. The wilderness doesn't care about your experience level, your plans, or your confidence. Nature is beautiful, awe-inspiring, and utterly indifferent to human suffering. Every year, thousands of hikers go missing. Most are found. Some aren't. Jake, Marcus, and Derek were lucky. Don't count on luck. End. Based on composite accounts of wilderness survival incidents in the Pacific Northwest, 2015 to 2023.